What's up, guys? We're gonna build beats today. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make non-music. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post noise on, make sure you do so because that's up a lot. Let's hop right into it. So my BPM is 180, right? So I'll explain what non-music is right now. Okay, now it's not really a real definition, but this is what I gathered. It's pretty much any music that can't technically be played by your average musician, right? Or just any music that breaks the norms of the current, music or music theory that we do today, right? So that would be like using gross beat or just using too many notes. I'm sure you see people in comments complain about like, oh, this, I'm sure y'all see that stuff. All right. I'm not gonna go into detail on why and stuff, but that's pretty much what it is, right? And you see a lot of that today. So first things first, BPM. We need a really fast BPM, right? Because the faster the tempo, the harder it is to play, for at least for the average person, right? So 180 BPM, and let's go ahead and we can grab in a scale. So I'm gonna just use my regular like F sharp, whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and we have Keyscape up and let's go get started with the first one. Now, a quick disclaimer, just because I'm making this video does not mean that I hate real music. I don't want people to get that narrative from it, okay? I just think it's interesting that non-music is a thing, or we could kind of put it in a category now. All right, and I just think it's funny how with rap or hip hop, it's a problem, but with other genres, no one cares what people do with the music, right? They call it amazing or whatever, but we're not gonna talk about that. Let's get started. So we're gonna start with the bass, okay? To make this easier, right? We could just place this here because this is our root. So you could go downward like this and flip it, because I don't want this melody to be too dark, right? Because if we do this and just go up a note, it's gonna sound very dark. So I'm gonna go backwards and use these notes as my bass notes. And I'm gonna just flip them. And we can just do that for our bass note. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you how to make non-music chords. All right, so let's get started with these chords. Now, most people only have 10 fingers, so at a given point or in a short period of time, if you put more than 10 notes, this will start to become non-music, right? Especially if you spread them apart, right? Now, this does not mean do this on purpose. You want your music to be playable, but sometimes, you add what you want, right? So let's take this C, pull this up an octave, and then just make a chord out of it, right? And we can stop there. All right, so that's 5 notes already. This probably would be difficult for most people to play, right? So I'm gonna pull this one down. And the reason I'm not pulling these is because it'll be too low. So I'm pulling this one. And then what we're gonna do is pull this down 2 octaves. So take that one, hold shift, click and drag and pull it down an octave, okay? So we're just gonna get rid of these so that you can at least see these top chords. All right. So let's do the other ones. Now, you don't have to do this every time. I'm not gonna go overboard. So let's just make our little chord here. Actually, we need to go up an octave and then place it and then place this down and then over here. Matter of fact, well, I'm gonna make the chord first and let's pull this one down, right? Same thing. We're just doing the same process, but with these, okay? And then we can make our chord here and let's delete this one because we have this here and then we kind of open this chord up a bit. Okay, and that's just some things you can do to kind of make your chords a little bit more interesting. Okay, so let's play the whole thing. Well, hopefully this will all fit. All right, let's play it. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do here is add some bounce by holding shift, click and drag, and I'm gonna offset this to right here. So I'm gonna just play it from here. All right, simple as that. So now let's move on to the melody. All right, so now we're gonna begin our non-music melody. Now, from here, what we can do is take any of these notes, right? I would say do 2, and we wanna create a range for our melody. Right, so let's just take the top 2 just to make it easy, pull it up an octave, shift D, okay, and then let's pull them over about halfway. I just like to do it halfway. You could do it wherever, but this is just a great spot for me. And what you want to do to create range is you can pull this lower one up an octave, and then pull it back down an octave. So now you have a range of kind of where you want to take your melody. So let's maybe do something like this. And then we can just kind of fill the in between. Let's just do our root, because this is our root chord. Or no, it's actually not our root chord. Well, this would be an F minor anyway. So let's pull this one in. And then we can just kind of fill these in where we please. And I'm gonna stretch these out. Oh. And we still gotta add a top melody. So from here, we're just gonna continue over. And let's pull this one up, because this is going to kind of mesh. And then once again, you can just kind of keep going along, right? You just kind of add things where you want them. And I'm gonna add this C over here. And let's just add up. Yep, we got a C right here. Okay, so that's the way you can kind of check your melodies if there's at least one note from your melody up here in the chord, okay? And then let's just continue it down. Okay, let's center this and let's play it. All right, so now let's go ahead and add a little top melody to this. All right, so now we need to make a top melody. So that would just be really high pitched notes that kind of harmonize with these. So now we can just take this G sharp. You can take any note, but I'm just take the G sharp. And we can kind of make a consistent melody. So we can kind of go down and then maybe come back here. And let's just copy this over. And then I'll just move the notes up one. Let me see. All right, so now we need to make variations. So I'm gonna copy this over and then we're gonna get started with that. Now, real quick, let's just add some variations. So all we need to do is just add a few notes, or we could just move things around. I'm just completely up to you. I'm gonna just use the same notes that G sharp we've been messing with. So we could do something like this. And then let's take this F and pull this up to kind of connect the notes a bit. And then I'm gonna add another G sharp down here somewhere, and maybe in between this. Okay. Let's add this C. Okay, and that matches up here. And then let's add like a little melody up here, okay? So let's just kind of use these notes. So let's start with this F. Let's do a little flam here. And that, let's see. And I'm gonna edit the velocity off camera. Okay, I like that. So here we go. Right, and we can even take this further, but like I said, we do things in moderation. You don't have to go overboard all the time, all right? So I think this is good enough, all right? So let's go ahead and start on our bass and just add a little bit of bass to this. All right, so that first preset I was using was Keyscape, grand piano, and I went ahead and took the effects off that I had so we can hear the bass. So for this, let's go in here and I'm gonna paste the bass pattern we did earlier. And from here, you just kind of play around. I'm gonna pull this up and then we can just kind of play around with the octaves. So I'm gonna just kind of do something like this, and then maybe we could put that G sharp in that we had. Just kind of play around with the notes. And I'm feeling like one of these notes up here. let's add like a little trickle down little sequence here. Kind of connect those notes, and then let's see what that sounds like. All right, I like that. So let's move on to Omnisphere. All right, so for our counter, we're gonna be using Omnisphere and just the default preset. I might change it later, but I didn't feel like searching for sounds. So for this, I'm gonna just take something from here, and this one looks a little bit more interesting to me. So I'm gonna start with this. All right, or you can go back to your chords and find something, but I'm gonna just make this easy on myself. So let's go in, and I'm gonna paste this, and I'm gonna go up an octave, and we could just start here and just kind of play around. Control D, and literally just from here, let's just kind of connect these. Make this a little bit larger for you. Okay, and I need these to be a little bit shorter. Okay, I think that sounds a little bit better. So I'm gonna go back here and we can just use these. And let's take this, pull this up. Okay. I like that. All right. So from here, now this is going outside the norms of music, right? So this will qualify as like, you know, non-music, because what I'm about to do is just literally copy this over and pull these down an octave a bit, not an octave, the velocity, as you can see. Okay. So let's play this. All right. I like that. So variation, pull it over, and now we can just add a few other notes. And what I'm gonna do is just something kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's basic, but it's not that creative. I'm gonna pull this over. Let's go to 1/4, and then we can literally just pull it up, do something like this, slide that over, and then let's make these a little. Okay, so we can just do something like that just to go into it, so it sounds a bit different, so it's not completely the same. And then I'm gonna take one of these notes and just add stuff in between. So to connect these, we can do something like that. Let's try that. So we added these notes over here. Let's play it. All right, sounds pretty good to me. So that is that. So now I'm gonna go to kind of the, I guess, processing, and I took it off. I'll put it back on for you. All right, so here's just some of the processing, and this is just a preset I always like load in. So here's RC20, okay, and then multi-pass just for some delay and reverb. And this has nothing to do with non-music. This is just to clean up the muddy frequencies, and I'll play it. Right, this is why it's important to put effects on your melody so they're not so in your face. Right, so what would make it non-music, or make people call it non-music, is using like the halftime effect or reverse, or like the gross beat stuff. So I'll play it with this on. Right, or you have your little pitch down. Right, so that will make it qualify as that. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you liked and enjoyed. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.